Attorney General Ken Paxton's push to overturn the state fair's firearms ban a month ahead of the event's return. We're going to discuss this and more of the day's top headlines. I'm Michael Adkison.
And I'm guest host Donna Reed. We also talk with Dr. Peter Stout, President and CEO of the Houston Forensic Science Center, who will tell us about their work providing forensic services to aid criminal investigations.
Plus, Houston Reggae Summerfest will take place tomorrow at Hermann Square. We'll learn all about what Houstonians can expect from this local celebration of reggae culture from the event's organizers.
And as always, we want to hear from you. Give us a call or text us at 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders and by gifts from listeners like you.
From NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump's embattled nominee for Attorney General will likely squeak by in his Senate confirmation. NPR's Barbara Sprunt reports Todd Blanche is receiving key support from Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has been facing an increasingly uphill battle in his Senate confirmation. Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine both are opposing his nomination, which meant all eyes were on Senator Cassidy of Louisiana. Cassidy said he had concerns over Blanche's judgment and how politicized the department has become, but ultimately said he'll support him.
The choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche. It is between Mr. Blanche and another acting attorney general who may not run the department effectively under President Trump and who, indeed, may not be as good as Mr. Blanche.
Cassidy's support gives Blanche the votes he'll need for confirmation and is a major win for the White House. Barbara Sprunt, NPR News, Washington.
U.S. employers cut 23,000 jobs last month. More on this from NPR's Scott Horsley.
The job cuts came in restaurants and retail shops as well as local government last month. Job gains for May and June were also revised sharply lower. Healthcare continued to add jobs last month, but at a modest pace. The unemployment rate dipped to 4.1%, but only because more than 260,000 people dropped out of the workforce. July was the second month in a row the jobs report was weaker than forecasters had expected. It suggests that sluggish economic growth and rising prices are taking a toll on the labor market. Average wages for people who are working climbed 3.2% over the last 12 months, but that's likely not enough to keep pace with inflation, so workers' paychecks aren't stretching as far as they used to. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
Meta is now reporting that one of its artificial intelligence models went rogue as it was being evaluated. NPR's John Ruich reports the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp is the latest in a string of tech giants to disclose their AI models hacked other companies.
AI companies test their models in computer settings that are supposed to be closed off from the internet. But Meta says a misconfiguration by an independent testing company called Irregular allowed one of its models to escape. It says the model, quote, exploited a security vulnerability in a third-party service, which likely means it hacked into another company. Anthropic and OpenAI have both said in recent days that some of their AI models had escaped testing arenas to go onto the internet and access other systems. And a government-backed AI security lab in the UK saw similar acts when testing their models. The incidents have raised concern about AI doing bad things autonomously and recently prompted AI researchers to call for a mechanism to pace AI development. John Ruich, NPR News.
You're listening to NPR.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Shelby Rose. It has been 1 month since Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was shot and killed by ICE enforcement in Houston's East End. While multiple local and federal investigations continue, a caravan took place this morning in support of Salgado Araujo and his family. 15 to 20 cars silently drove by until one man stops, gets out of his car, and begins a speech.
La muerte de Lorenzo es el resultado de una política criminal.
He says Salgado Araujo's death is the result of a criminal policy being carried out against the working community and that they are determined to keep fighting and will never be silenced. The federal government, though, disputes this, saying the shooting occurred in self-defense. Harris County commissioners have approved $2.5 million in funding for the investigation into the death of Salgado Araujo. The funding includes overtime for investigators and possible outside counsel. It was a unanimous decision to approve the funding for Harris County District Attorney Sean Tier's office. And Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo's second attempt to propose a tax rate increase to fund child care programs has failed. She made the penny tax proposal during Thursday's Commissioner's Court and said it would provide around $66 million to fund child care programs that are facing grant funding deadlines. The voters would have to approve it.
And we are not willing to let them decide. I honestly don't know the reason, but I'm afraid these are the kinds of decisions that turn people off from politics.
The proposal failed after commissioners said that they are already facing what could be the highest tax rate in the county's history in the budget next year. And police are investigating after a child under 5 years old was found unresponsive at a Northwest Harris County gas station last night. Authorities say a car pulled into the station on Cypress Wood Drive just about 8 p.m., and family members begged deputies already on scene for help. KHOU reports the child was taken to a local hospital after deputies provided aid before EMS arrived. No foul play is suspected, but the child was not breathing when deputies first made contact. They're searching a nearby home as they investigate. I'm Shelby Rose, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive Insurance, where drivers can bundle and customize their home and auto insurance in one place with the goal of protecting what matters most. Coverage options at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
From Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Hello Houston.
Hello, Houston, and happy Friday. We finally made it through the week, and we are so excited. We've got to spend the week with you. I'm still filling in for Ernie Manouse, Michael Adkison, Houston Public Media reporter. And joining me today for this wonderful Friday morning is Donna Reed for the second time this week. Hello, Donna.
This is nice, a repeat performance with you.
It's nice. We came in completely cold earlier this week. Had really only briefly met. And we're thrown into the deep end, and I thought the show went well, so we're going to repeat it today.
I know. Well, we're connected with social media, too. I think just that, and then the few times I see you here when I'm here just part-time, and I go, all right.
We can do this.
We can do this. We're on it. We've got it.
It was same. I was on the phone with Ernie yesterday. He called me, and we were talking about the show and everything, and I had told him, sometimes the on-air talent gets a bad rap for the just going on the air and then that's the day for them, but I was exhausted by the end of the day. It's a lot of work to just be on for 2 hours, and it's been wonderful having you. I can see where it's been hard to go from guest host to guest host to guest host because it's changing personality every few days, essentially.
Right.
And
you have to keep your focus.
You have to keep your focus and be on your toes and change your persona and how you talk about things. And I was like, Ernie, I have such sympathy for you. I see how hard you work.
Yeah, and there's a lot of information before you get in here too.
Right.
Show prep, as you'd say.
100%.
There's a lot to it. Yeah, and then keeping your demeanor. Oh, yes. I feel the same way about it.
And I've had two wonderful guest hosts in you and Doug Miller, but you guys are very different. And so the dynamic that we have with each other is very different. And so sort of it's like a karma chameleon, we're bouncing. That was a music reference for you. I know you.
Now that is in my head and I can't get it. I'll be doing and I'll be hearing it as I
Maybe I shouldn't be singing. I don't know if we have the rights to that, but
it's okay.
Well, it's okay. It's okay.
You have a nice voice. It's
Thank you. But we are here on this Friday, and we're so happy that you are tuning in and joining us to embrace this end of the week energy that we're bringing here. And Donna's here to read us the headlines. So why don't you take it away, Donna?
Thank you, Michael. An all-Republican Texas appeals court has delivered another blow to Attorney General Ken Paxton's challenge of State Fair's firearms ban, just over a month before the annual week-long event returns to Dallas. In his 2024 lawsuit against the city and the private nonprofit that operates the fair, Paxton argued that the policy violated a state law that bars local governments from limiting guns in most public spaces. The event takes place at Fair Park, which the city owns and leases to the fair organizer. And on Thursday, the three justices on the 15th Court of Appeals unanimously affirmed a lower court's rejection of Paxton's argument. Their ruling held that the state law only applies to the conduct of government entities, while nodding at the city's position that it has no role in making or overseeing the fair's policy. The Attorney General's office, the City of Dallas, and the State Fair of Texas didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. The fair's gun ban began in 2024, a year after a shooting that injured 3 people at the event. So what are your thoughts on this? Call or text us at 713-440-8870.
We were talking a little bit about this before we went on to the air, and reminiscing is not quite the word I want to use, but we were looking back on that shooting that had happened. I remember when it happened, and I had told Donna that I had a couple friends who were there that day, and and I texted and said, "Hey, I heard something's going down. Are you okay?" And I remember she responded 10 minutes later, my friend, and said, "Wow, you are such a reporter. Like this only happened 10 minutes ago, and you texted me like immediately." And thankfully they made it out. But they talk about the fear of just seeing everyone kind of running all at once when that happened, and not really knowing what was happening. They hadn't heard the gunshots. They just saw everyone running and knew that they should probably run too. And
how close were they?
I don't think they were very close. If you've been to the State Fair of Texas, it's huge. It's all across Fair Park and up in the Dallas area. So I don't even think they said they didn't hear the gunshots. This is years ago. I'm trying to remember exactly what they said, but I don't think they were close to it. But they just saw everyone running, and instinct told them to run too, and they got out of there, got to safety. Of course, 3 people were injured. We were trying to, recollect the details before we went on the air about what exactly happened, and it looked like it was a confrontation between a couple of individuals before one of them pulled out a gun and shot one, the person who confronted him, as well as a couple other people who were walking by. So, just a very sad that happened, of course, and I think the political controversy over it added fuel to the fire, shall we say. Absolutely, about everything that went on.
And it never happened at any other place.
Not
before
to my
that
recollection.
time.
Not to my recollection. I mean, obviously there are shootings in Texas, but nothing quite like
in a public space.
There've been I'm thinking like Sutherland Springs, obviously Uvalde, but nothing quite like the Fair Park that I can remember. I can't think of something like a concert where this has happened or anything to that effect.
Well, in concerts though, don't you have to have, like, for women, we have a clear bag
Sure,
to carry
security.
in.
Yeah,
for security. They don't do that at state fairs?
It's been a while since I've been to the Texas State Fair. I believe they do a certain level of security, but it was one of those things where guns were allowed. I forget if it had to be concealed carry or not, but guns were permitted. And after this shooting, the State Fair said that is not going to happen. We're not going to have guns anymore, and that's when the state government sort of said you can't infringe on the right to have guns. And what's interesting is, as you were reading it, what came to mind for me was, I know it's very different, so bear with me, but the same argument about Lena Hidalgo earlier this year with the Houston rodeo, and I'm sure if Lena Hidalgo is hearing right now, she's going to get very frustrated that I'm comparing the two. I know they are not very similar, but this argument of the Houston rodeo, you are in NRG Stadium, now Reliant Stadium, that's owned by the county, therefore this is a county process. And obviously there wasn't any legal aftermath of that, but that essentially was the argument that the Court of Appeals made against Ken Paxton is, yes, the state fair is on public property, but it's not public officials that do the state fair, so it's not, you can't regulate that, essentially, which is interesting to me. I don't know.
Where do you think it'll go from here?
I think this is done. I would have a hard time thinking the Supreme Court is going to weigh in, but you never know. Sometimes they make these appeals. But, as far as I can tell, this is probably going to be the end of the road, and that guns will not be at the state fair, when it starts. I believe in September, October is usually when it starts. So we'll see. We'll see what the Attorney General's office does, but I would imagine this is the decision, is what I would think. No guns at the state fair.
So if you have thoughts, call or text us at 713-440-8870.
It makes me think about, just again, as we went onto the air, we were talking about firearms and possession of them in Texas and what that looks like culturally. And it made me think of, I referenced just now the Sutherland Springs shooting at that church that happened, what would that have been, 2017? Yes. And I recall that was at a church, of course. I recall that the church that my parents went to decided to have a meeting with the congregation. The security at the church said, let's have a meeting and talk about guns and security and what have you. Mm-hmm. And my dad loves to tell this story because it just the way that the security officer presented it was very funny, where the officer said, I'm not going to tell anyone not to bring a gun to a church. There are laws in Texas. We cannot restrict certain things. If it's concealed carry, you can bring your gun. Excuse me. But where's my voice going? But if I as a security officer get a call that there's an active shooter in the church, and I walk in and I see you holding a gun, your gun, my instinct is that you are the shooter and I'm going to shoot you. He's like, that's the warning that I'm giving you now. I'm not going to tell you not to bring the gun, but if you are in the building and I am told there's an active shooter and I see you with a gun, I am probably going to shoot you. That's the warning. You decide what's best for you.
Has he ever had to do that before?
I can't imagine that
Probably
he has,
not,
but
no.
just it was just such a it's such a nuanced way of approaching that conversation. I really thought was an interesting way to approach the gun conversation in public settings. So really makes you think about what's going on. 713-440-8870 is the number to call. Chris is calling from Cyprus. Chris, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I think it's a good idea that, firearms are not allowed. You want families to go and have fun and enjoy themselves. And, guns are not present, and, everyone can go have a good time and, enjoy the fair.
Yeah, it's one less thing to think about. I think when you're in those settings, it's one fewer thing you have to be concerned about. And I don't think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think anyone wants shootings to happen in public, but it's this question. It's a state fair.
There's what's at a state fair? There's animals, there's kids and families.
Carnival rides,
concerts,
all that.
And music too.
Yeah,
so.
And it makes me think of what concerts used to be and how we approach them, and it's been a while since I've had to go to a concert and not check what the security policy is ahead of time. I'm sure as a woman, it's probably the same of what bag can I bring and what's acceptable.
It's not like those Grateful Dead concerts of old. It's definitely changed a lot. So
Not like that. Chris, thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate it. 713-440-8870 is the number to call if you want to weigh in on this or any other topic. Moving on to the next thing on our docket, you may have heard, I'm sure if you're a parent, you are all too familiar. This summer is approaching its end. This is the last week for a lot of kids before they head back to the classroom next week. I know Houston ISD goes back on Monday. I believe Galveston ISD is also Monday. Most others are starting at some point in the next week.
Monday.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Summer just
Crank
went
up
by.
that air conditioning.
Summer just went by.
It did. It did.
But that's a good point. Turn your air conditioner up. Save that money if the kids aren't going to be home.
I think school starts in September. sometime in some places. Right. It hasn't been that way here in Texas for a while. But still, it's still so hot. They're still wearing shorts to school.
Oh, my gosh.
They can wear whatever.
Right. It's brutal. I know my colleague over in the news department, Bianca Stewart, has done some great reporting that I think is yet to come out. I think she's maybe worked on. She's done something earlier this week. I think there's still some more to come out about what it's like. UIL competitions and being in football practice and band practice in the heat is insane.
They have. I heard the story yesterday, and it's called a taco. Where the players can just go in there and they can douse them with ice. I'm trying to remember the specifics, and I'm sure she'll redo the story. But I think it was a place where they can cool down.
Yeah,
and it's good because it's hot out there.
Yeah,
I mean, any sporting event in the summer, or as you're wrapping up the summer, the kids are going to school. It's still summer.
Yep,
it's hot out there. So just having a covering or this little taco, I think it's called.
Right.
It's cute.
When I was in high school, which was unfortunately, I'll say it was not too long ago. It was only about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I know. Sorry, I'm very young. I'm young. I'm just a kid. No, it was a thing for all the band kids to brag about their tans that they would have from being in the sun for hours and hours and hours, that they would all have farmer's tans. And all the band kids that I remember would wear chacos. I feel like this is when chacos were having their moment.
Yeah,
you can picture the really unique strips of fabric that are on your feet, and so they would brag about their chaco tans that you could see all the lines on their feet. It was just ridiculous. But one more thing to think about with school coming to a start next week is this weekend is tax-free weekend. So get all your shopping done. Keep it less than $100, but get all the shopping done that you need for school or for groceries or what have you, because that is going to be tax-free, or not groceries, but clothing and backpacks and all that is going to be tax-free. And that's going to be not just in stores, but also stuff that you buy online, phone, mail, catalog, if anyone's doing that these days, custom orders. There are a couple of caveats. All student backpacks qualify for the exemption, but only certain types of clothing and school supplies are eligible. Also, charges for delivery and shipping and handling are considered part of that sales price. So if paying for shipping pushes you past that $100, it's not going to be covered. So check the State Controller of Public Accounts website for more details. And a little bit of Texas trivia for everyone listening attentively. The state's preschool sales tax holiday was proposed in 1999 by none other than Houston Harris County Commissioner Rodney Ellis back when he was in the Texas Senate. And he likes to say that he has saved Texas families more than $2 billion as a result of that. Fun little Texas trivia for you.
Always
but if you're thinking about how you want to spend that money and you want to weigh in and tell us any tips that you have for tax-free weekend, give us a call or text 713-440-8870. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what it's like to go back to school. The story that we were talking about previously regarding guns at the state fair, we got a text from a listener who says the irony is that the Republican National Convention bans gun. Is Paxton having an issue with that? I did not know that they banned guns at the RNC. Makes you think.
Definitely a thinker.
I imagine it makes sense if they're having those at stadiums or event centers, that those often
and there's
have.
so many.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many stadiums and event centers are there?
Right.
Nationwide.
Yeah. So something to think about. Give us a call or text if you want to weigh in, 713-440-8870. Coming up, we are going to be talking with Dr. Peter Stout, the president and CEO of the Houston Forensic Science Center, and he is going to give us his input on the forensic process and what people need to know. And like I said earlier, we're ready to ask all our Law and Order and CSI questions on what the reality is
questions
of some of those
plenty.
episode plot lines. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
Meet Tio Choco. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. This is his story. Visit ridemetro.org/Choco to find out where is Choco.
Finds out. On the next Snap Judgment, is there ever such a thing as getting away with it? Snap Rally presents The Shadow Side. Snap Judgment. Do not miss it.
You can hear that tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Hello, I'm Nikki Beattie. Join me for this week's Arts Hour from the BBC. With British actor Samantha Morton, Circe in the Odyssey, Oscar-winning US actor Helen Hunt, French-Senegalese director Alain Gomis, Nigerian-British comedian Ayuade Bamboye, the Norwegian composer Ola Yellow, and my chat with US comedy star Jay Jordan. That's all in the Arts Hour from the BBC.
You can listen to the Arts Hour tonight. That's on at 10 p.m.
In the summer of 1966, the Beatles released an album loaded with such invention and remarkable songcraft that it's still amazing people today.
This was literally phenomenal. This was a new kind of rock music.
It's unquestionably their best record.
Not only their best album, but one of the greatest rock albums ever made, Revolver.
Listen for Everything Was Right, the Beatles' Revolver. Hear Hour 2 on Revolver on the Music Archive Showcase. Saturday evening at 7 on News 88.7.
Support comes from the 2026-2027 In-Print Brown Reading Series, featuring Hernan Diaz, Emily St. John Mendel, Claudia Rankin, Colson Whitehead, and others. Season tickets and more at imprint.org.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Alley Theater, celebrating its 80th season with classics, new works, and audience favorites, including Romeo and Juliet and A Christmas Carol. Season information and tickets at alleytheater.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Michael Adkison and Donna Reed.
Forensic science plays a vital part in criminal investigations, but much of that work is often misunderstood. The Houston Forensic Science Center, created by former Houston Mayor Anise Parker back in 2012, provides independent forensic services to help support criminal investigations through careful collection and analysis and preservation of evidence. But today, we're going to take even a closer look at how forensic evidence is processed, the different types of work the center performs, and why quality, objectivity, and scientific integrity are so important to the investigative process. So joining us today is Dr. Peter Stout, President and CEO of the Houston Forensic Science Center. Dr. Stout, welcome to Hello, Houston.
Hey, y'all. How are you doing today?
We're doing great, and I know that Michael and I were both thinking about the same time. Is all of this like CEI and Law and Order? I mean, is your work...
No.
Nothing like
No.
that. Okay,
No.
then we'll start from there. So a typical day for you would be like what when you walk into the office?
Everything's on fire.
Everything. Huh?
Got it. Good. No further questions.
Yeah, typical day for us. So we are a very large crime laboratory in the grand scheme of labs around the country. I think one of the things I find lots of groups don't understand is forensics in this country is actually a very, very small group of people. There are 423 publicly funded crime labs in the country. There's about 15,000 people that work between that. And those 15,000 really smart nerds are what all of this rides on. So in Texas, there are a grand total of 1,515 active licensed analysts in the state that handle about 400,000 requests for service from those people.
Wow.
So a typical day for a forensic scientist is front to back slammed doing stuff.
So the backlog must be immense.
It is, right now in Houston, we're in a pretty privileged place as far as the DNA backlog goes. I know you mentioned about Anise Parker, and at the point that the lab was formed, there was a very large backlog in sexual assault kits and DNA. And right now, all of our sexual assault kits are less than the 90-day requirement by state law, which has taken about a decade to get to that point. We've got backlogs in what we call seized drugs, the analysis of pills, powders, green leafies, goo in a sock, stuff to see if there's a controlled substance in there, and in firearms. Those are our two big backlogs. But firearms in particular is a huge problem nationwide. I also find myself often... I'm sorry?
The testing for firearms, like determining what the ballistics and everything? Yeah.
Right. Of trying to associate a fired piece of evidence with a particular gun. Nationwide, we figure there's only about 700 firearms examiners in the whole country. The entire state of Texas has a grand total of 70 firearms examiners.
Wow.
And why is there so little of them? Are there people that want to do the work, or are there people that don't want to do? I mean, I kind of like really brilliant nerds, but maybe you could.
These are other things I try really hard to get people to understand. Right now, we're kind of at the tail of a big suite of retirements, particularly in firearms. And to create a firearms examiner takes us about 2 years of training after we hire somebody. So It's a very, very long training arc. And, a lot of people don't make it all the way through that training. It's really strenuous and taxing on them. And there are only 3 graduate programs in the entire U.S. that actually focus on firearms to train them at the academic level. They're just part of what you ask about misconceptions in forensics. I think the biggest misconception I get from people is they just don't understand how few people we have and how big the need is for more people and more trained people. And that's the problem we've got, is getting people trained.
Yeah, I hadn't realized how few people. I'm learning this in real time with everyone listening at home, because I think there's this perception, the sexual assault and rape kits that you mentioned. I think there's this perception that they're just all sitting in some closet collecting dust, and people have asked what they're right there. Why aren't we testing them? Why aren't we testing them? But to hear these numbers of people that are actually in the industry is fascinating. That there's just not enough people. Do you feel like, not to put you in the spotlight to speak on behalf of the workforce of the industry, but do you feel like the interest or the demand, or not the demand per se, are we losing people to move into this industry, or are we keeping up with trends? How does that look to you?
I get a lot of questions about that. What are turnover rates and things like that? All of these things. So, nationally, of the 15,000 people that work between those 400 labs, almost every laboratory in the country is got about 10% of their positions are open. They're having difficulty filling them, and that's because of a lot of things. If I put out a position for a new grad, educational background, not experienced, I will get 400 resumes overnight.
Wow.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But I've got to train them, and it is years out to train a new person. If I'm looking for an experienced person, basically experienced people just don't move between laboratories. It's very rare to be able to get an experienced person. And the turnover that we see is people just simply leaving forensics. Another thing, I think people think of forensics as this great puzzle, and there are people that enjoy the puzzle of it, but you stop and you think, really, we deal with basically somebody's worst day, nightmare is just our typical day.
Yeah.
The work is kind of tough on people. And then you add on top of that all of the strain of the testimony and all of the criticism of it. And it's criminal justice. You're not getting rich doing this. So we lose a lot of people just out to other careers altogether.
How has the center changed since 2012?
Enormous change. I wrote an article a couple of years ago in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, kind of covering all of the stuff we've done. We basically have replaced everything of what the previous laboratory was. We've replaced the building, we've replaced all the computer systems, we've replaced a lot of the people, all of the processes, all of the equipment. It is enormously different than what it was even in 2012, much less back about the 2003 New York Times headline, "The Worst Lab in the Country." We have made enormous strides. I also have to point out with that while the laboratory itself, it's very flattering, all the attention on HFSC and what we've accomplished, we don't get to accomplish that without all the other stuff that has occurred in Texas over the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. Namely, the Texas Forensic Science Commission is an enormous part of our being able to do the work that we do. You mentioned about Commissioner Rodney Ellis. He was part of passing what we call the Michael Morton Act, which changed a lot of how discovery occurs, and particularly around forensic science evidence, and that makes a big difference in how forensic laboratories function. So there's a entire ecosystem of laws and agencies and infrastructure that has grown up in Texas over the last 20 years that is all part of why stuff works differently in Texas.
Kind of going off of that, you mentioned Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Walk me through the relationship that your forensic center has with the county level medical examiner's office. How do you work with each other?
Yeah.
How do you divide and conquer essentially?
This is also confusing in Houston. So in Texas, there are 39 accredited laboratories in Texas. 16 of those laboratories are part of the Texas DPS system. The Texas DPS system largely covers all of the more unincorporated rural areas, not the major urban areas. So there is a Texas DPS laboratory here in Harris County. It's out on 290. That is a regional laboratory that does, I think, the 14 counties that are around Harris County. But if Texas Rangers or Texas DPS has say like a traffic stop or something like that in Harris County that's going to be prosecuted in Harris County, the evidence from that would go to the DPS laboratory. Then there is also what we call the county's laboratory, Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences. That is crime laboratory functions that are part of the medical examiner, which is a county function. And then there's us as HFSC, which really serves the city of Houston. Harris County has 87 law enforcement agencies in it. I predominantly get things from HPD, which is the largest law enforcement.
Oh, we may have lost him briefly.
Criminal functions. Oh,
we lost you for a second
occurred.
there, but all good. We have you now.
Yeah, got me back. It is, and most of the criminal charges that are moved through Harris County courts originate with HPD, meaning that evidence comes to me as the city's laboratory. If you're out in unincorporated Harris County or something that the sheriff's office is collecting, that evidence is going to go to Harris County IFS. So there's some overlap of the functions, but it's very different in a lot of ways. Toxicology is probably the most easiest place to see.
Yeah.
Because I don't deal with cause and manner of death. That's the medical examiner. I deal with drugs that are used in the commission of a crime. So driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, or what's called drug facilitated sexual assault. Those are the kinds of cases I get. So I guess the way I often point to it is we get the live stupid people. They get the dead stupid people. The behaviors are all still stupid. It's just kind of, we divide them that way. So there's a lot of specialization within the laboratories of the kinds of work that we handle between the labs.
When I was reading about what you do, Transparent Forensic Laboratories, explain that to us. And we know the reasons why it's so important, but in your words.
So I've worked in forensic laboratories all over the country for a lot of years. I just cut the gray hairs off. Been doing this for about 30 years. Texas is pretty unusual in the very specific and very complete transparency of what's happening in crime laboratories. And it's important to the rest of what happens in cases because often these horrible miscarriages of justice that you hear about around the country come back to the fact that something wasn't disclosed about what was happening in the laboratory. So when HFSC was formed, it was a very overt, explicit part of the functioning of HFSC was to be as transparent as possible about the functioning of the laboratory, what's going right, what's going wrong. And that has really grown out into the rest of the state. So for instance, when we have a corrective action, something that's gone wrong quality-wise, you can go to our website, all of those things are posted up there. We started doing that back in 2015, just after the laboratory was formed. Now, if you go to the Texas Forensic Science Commission site, there is an entire database of those corrective actions where all of the laboratories in the state post their corrective actions to a public website that is part of the commission. That's really unusual around the country. You don't see that really elsewhere in the country of being very forthcoming with this information. And over the last 10 years, Dr. Sarah Chu, in her doctoral dissertation, she actually looked at data from Texas Forensic Science Commission that 10 years ago, we got more complaints. So people from outside the laboratories sending Texas Forensic Science Commission a complaint about something that was going wrong in labs. Now it's exactly the opposite. We see mostly self-disclosures from laboratories and very few complaints. So the culture of laboratories has shifted across this time, and part of that is because of HFSC, to something where laboratories are things that go wrong is just more of the normal course of how we handle things. It's more expected that we know things go wrong. This is how we handle them. We have processes for this. It goes through a process with the commission, and laboratories are far more willing to disclose these kinds of things now.
Yeah. We are talking with Dr. Peter Stout, the president and CEO of the Houston Forensic Science Center. If you would like to join the conversation, give us a call or text 713-440-8870. Dr. Stout, we were talking earlier about the different options that are here. You mentioned DPS, Harris County, and then your office in Houston at the city level. Is that we talked also about how you've caught up with the backlogs and certain things. No. Between those options that we have at the state, county, and city levels effectively, is that enough to keep us going?
No. Just no.
Why? Explain that.
They're between those laboratories. I mean, this is the thing across the entire country. There just simply are not enough people doing this in any of the disciplines across any of the laboratories. It's just not even enough. This extends out even into medical examiners and pathologists. It's estimated that we are short by at least 1,000 forensic pathologists in this country. We need to double the number of forensic pathologists that are practicing to even have a prayer of keeping up with autopsies and the forensic pathology side. So this goes across everything. So the three laboratories, we all struggle with various backlogs at various points. We barely keep up with things. There just simply isn't enough capacity, even with those three laboratories here in Harris County.
So again, not to get you to speak on behalf of the industry, but how do you solve that? Is it, I think of, it's not the same, but I think of in the education system as we were facing a teacher shortage for a while, they lowered the criteria to become certified as a teacher. Can we do something like that? But at the same time, it's public safety. I don't know that anyone wants to lower the standards for that.
Really what you want to do. Some of it rolls back to funding. Laboratories here in Harris County, where actually both of the laboratories are pretty well funded. I won't say they are adequately funded, but we're both pretty well funded comparatively to most of the country. So there is a just sheer basic resource need because we just need more people, and people like to get paid. Actually, this last legislative session, I've got to give Senator John Huffman was the one that carried the bill for us, but we created what we're calling the Forensic Analyst Apprenticeship Program. So the state has now, and we're working, this is through Texas Forensic Science Commission, and the Office of Court Administration administers the program. But basically the state helps offset for the laboratories the cost of the salary and benefits of somebody who's in training for the first 2 years. So we're getting that set up. We're targeting forensic alcohol analysts, seized drugs analysts, and forensic biology analysts are the first basically suite of trainees that we're looking to help with. We all understand we need firearms. My problem is there isn't a firearms program in any of the universities in the state to kind of build off of. So there's how we develop the pipeline of employees. We're working on that. We've made some more progress here in Texas than most anybody in the country. We need more training programs. We need training programs that produce graduates out of those programs that are closer to being able to be an analyst in the laboratories. We need to support laboratories in all of the training that is going to have to occur in the laboratory to get those people to where they're able to do the work.
Wouldn't it be great to have it, like if someone was a criminology major, part of their training would have, something like this be a part of?
Well, that's kind of exactly the hope with this apprenticeship program is they are people that are in the laboratories learning things in the labs. We've got some support from the state to help pay for them, and the universities are helping to offset some of the training that, things around their licensure requirements and like general chemistry kinds of things, those things that we have to teach everybody. And I'm really hopeful that this will help develop our pipeline, but it takes a lot to build a new analyst. There is an accreditation program for forensic education programs, FEPAC. And we argue in the forensic world all the time about can we get them to have more practical stuff and things like that. But what we find is I need these people to have all of the didactic scientific background classes. And then I also need the practical stuff. So it's kind of a solid 10-year arc from the point somebody went into an undergraduate program until they're really a productive analyst for us.
Well, maybe if someone's a criminology major somewhere, they're listening in, they're going, this is for me.
This is what I need to do.
This is it. There's more than what I see on CSI. So thank you very much.
Even more, there's a chemistry major that thinks
there you go. Right.
Chemistry lurks under almost everything we do. And I can teach a chemist the forensic-y stuff easier than I can teach the science stuff to somebody who's just got the kind of criminal justice background.
Oh, I wish we had more time to talk, but thank you so much for coming in and telling us about this. It's given me a whole new spin on on what is done behind the scenes.
There you go. There you go. Dr. Peter Stout is the president and CEO of the Houston Forensic Science Center. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hello Houston today.
Thanks, Dr. Stout.
Excellent. Appreciate y'all.
Coming up, Houston Reggae Fest. A little bit of a transition there. Stay with us as we talk about this fun event that's going to come to Houston this weekend. Stay with us.
Meet Damola, songwriter, world-class violinist, and award-winning multi-genre artist. We just took his keys for the day and gave him a Ride Metro fare card. Visit ridemetro.org/Damola to learn more about his ride.
Employees, and some even match gifts from retirees. That means your support for trusted news and programs could have double the impact for our community. Find out if your company participates at houstonpublicmedia.org/match.
The secondhand luxury goods market is huge. But can you tell what is real from what is fake?
I said, I don't know if it's fake. I kind of don't think it is.
On the next Planet Money, the fight over authenticity between one luxury brand and an online reseller. And on How I Built This, Guy Raz and the founder of OtterBox answer questions from two up-and-coming entrepreneurs. That's on the next Planet Money and How I Built This from NPR.
You can hear it tomorrow morning at 9.
The news nowadays is a bit like our weather, much more extreme. The headlines that grab the most attention generate a lot of heat and not much light. On 1A, we rely on your questions and stories to help us better understand the issues that demand more than a few tweets. With your help, we'll get to the heart of the story together.
"1A", weekdays at 2 p.m. on News 88.7.
Your favorite PBS and Houston Public Media shows, live, on demand, and all in one place. Search HPM Plus on your smart and connected TVs.
HPM Plus. Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from attorney mediator Ron Bankston, providing in-person, video conference, and hybrid mediation and arbitration services. More information is available at ronbankston.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Michael Adkison and Donna Reed.
All right, from jerk chicken and Jamaican beef patties to the unmistakable rhythms of reggae, Caribbean culture has been part of Houston's rich cultural landscape. And this weekend, culture takes center stage at the Houston Reggae Summerfest, a celebration of music, food, and community. I'm getting hungry already. That brings together artists and local businesses and reggae lovers from across the region. And joining us now to tell us more about the festival and how it came together, why reggae continues to resonate in Houston, and what festival goers can expect are Timothy Hudson, founder and CEO of Houston Reggae Summerfest, and King Tafari Toney, the festival's entertainment director. Welcome to Hello Houston.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? I wanted to just make
either or. You know,
either, okay.
Depends on the sentence that you want to use.
Okay, all right.
So tell us about Reggae Fest. Where did this come from, and what can we expect this weekend?
Yeah, so this has been going on since 2018, and I've been in Houston since the early 80s, and so I grew up going to the Bob Marley Fest, iFest, and so there was a gap in kind of that communities celebration, and so we by 2018 I started it up, and we've been going strong since, and so we brought on some great people to help support, bring all of the cultures together. So
yeah, love that.
Yeah.
I feel like for a lot of people, reggae, they just think of Bob Marley.
For sure.
I'm sure it's so
100%.
much more.
I mean, he's the king of reggae.
He's the king.
He's winning Grammys today. So still today.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's so much more to the culture than that.
100%. When it comes to reggae music, it goes through its generations also. So they have a new reggae genre that they would say the reggae revival. So it's a different, new, younger artist, but it's still the same message. It's still the same, somewhat of political, somewhat of righteousness and things like that. So no matter what, reggae is still going to have that positive feel to it, and that energy that Bob set forth to the world to know. It's always been in Jamaica, but for the world to know, Bob said that. So everybody can see, okay, it's not just about, certain things.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the politics there. I think for a lot of Americans, and probably particularly for white Americans, they don't know, to them, reggae is just the sound, the style of music, that it's very chill and what have you. But there is just a politics to it that this, speaking about truth to power.
I mean, I specifically won't talk about it much because it's its own thing, but it's just like every genre. Every genre has something where they talk about, like hip-hop. Hip-hop came from New York, where I'm from, but it also comes from talking about the stories of where you are from and what you're going through. Yep. So every genre has its own niche of what they talk about when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Speaking of genre, soca and dance hall.
Yep. Yeah.
Describe those.
I mean, soca came out before reggae. So that's a Trinidadian-born genre, and that literally is like high energy, high,
fast paced.
Yeah, fast paced, the carnival life and things like that. Like all of that comes from soca. Dancehall is the little child of reggae. It's the rebel child of reggae. So it's like, all right, you guys can talk about that, but we're going to talk about the fun stuff.
It's kind of like hip hop and then like rap, right? It's kind of a difference in the two, right?
Yeah.
Hip hop is more conscious and peace, and then like your hardcore rap is like more like a street.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there will be different performing artists with these different genres of music at the festival.
Well, this will be the Summerfest, so this is more party vibes.
Oh, all right.
Right. So,
but all three genres are played.
Okay.
Yeah. You're gonna get. I say a thing when I DJ out there. I say we travel the world through music. Because the entertainment that you're going to get is not going to be we're just playing reggae, we're just playing dancehall, we're playing world music. Like we're going to play everything for everybody to know. So when you come out there, bring your flags and represent. Like represent whatever you represent, and I guarantee you're going to leave like, whoo. I'm going to need to settle down for a little bit.
And you said you're DJing?
No, well, I'm hosting /
okay.
Also giving some good entertainment and having some good fun.
Okay.
Everybody knows like the energy that I will bring.
Man, I was ready to hear who you had on your playlist, but I'll go.
I mean, look, man, it's going to be, when I say that the entertainment is lively, we have some legendary people like Level Sound with Fatakari and Goldfinger.
Yep.
They are a staple in the Houston community when it comes to the Caribbean lifestyle out here. We have Sal Infrared. He's also from New York, but he's from St. Lucia. So you're going to hear the soca, you're going to hear the what they call bouillon, which is St. Lucian genre. And then you have Silent Killer. He's a world-renowned #1 Afrobeat DJ that everybody knows about. And then Mr. Tim here has the good connections of New York and brought down Young Chow. And Young Chow is from a staple radio station in New York called Hot 97.
Yeah. So he's probably one of the top Caribbean DJs in a
great
whole
station.
country.
So, yeah. I mean, just you've set the stage. Just what's your elevator pitch to people who may be hearing about Houston Reggae Fest and are like, maybe I'll go. Just convince them to come, if you will, right now.
Go ahead.
All right, man. Listen, man. You come out to Houston. Listen, the #1 thing I want you to do is make sure you bring your chairs, but you're not going to sit down. This is just in case. Bring an umbrella because we know we're in Houston heat. So if you're not from Houston, just be careful. But make sure you don't bring what we call stush vibes. Stush vibes is when you're just sitting down and you're just waving your hand.
Right.
You're gonna dance. It's
dance.
A party.
Yeah.
Like we are. If you never had interactions with DJs, you're gonna have interactions with us. We're gonna point you out. We're gonna say get up. We're gonna say dance. We're gonna say come on. You might see us. You might see me jump off the stage and come talk to you.
Definitely.
And really like get people going. Like we will bring people on stage. We'll do everything to make sure when you leave, you're going to be talking about next year. Exactly. When is it going to happen next year? That's the same thing that happened last year.
It's called Stush Vibes?
Yeah, like Stush Vibes is like when you're acting like real prissy. Like, I don't want to sweat. You know,
this is Houston. We have to sweat.
You're gonna have a lot of fun.
I love this show. I learn new stuff all
the lineup is so good.
Yeah.
You're going to just...
And like each year it gets more and more diverse in who comes, right? Old, young, white, black, Asian, and so it's one of the genres that like everybody can like enjoy.
Yeah.
And so
So is this year's festivity different than last year's, or?
No, same. I mean, the same idea, but different DJs and new vendors. We probably have about 60 vendors from all over like Houston who sell food, jewelry, art, arts and crafts. So it's to me, it's one of Houston's biggest like community like festivals.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, talk about the food. I'm sure you guys have had to sample a lot of the food that's going to be here.
Of course. Yeah, we probably have 8 to 10 of Houston's top folks there.
Yeah.
So like jerk chicken, oxtails, what's some more dishes?
Curry
goat.
Your rice and peas.
Yeah.
Some of them might be frying fish. So there's a lot of like red snapper and stuff like that. So you're not gonna be hungry. And you're not gonna be thirsty. You're gonna have rum punch there, like real Caribbean rum punch.
Yep.
You're gonna have a guy selling coconuts straight from Jamaica. So you're gonna have that. And just to let y'all know, after you finish drinking the coconut, do not throw it away. Go back to him, make him chop it in half, and you eat that inside. That's the health benefit right there.
I thought maybe there was rum in there.
No,
Pina colada was coming out.
You can put whatever you want to put in it.
Oh, that's good to know.
Whatever that's going to make you party more, but, just to give you a little point on that.
One of our producers, William, was looking for a good jerk chicken recipe. So what's the most important ingredient, if you can't give the whole recipe?
I mean, every ingredient is important. Like you can't call it jerk chicken if it doesn't have all the ingredients. That's like saying I'm eating fried chicken, but there's no batter.
Yeah.
I fried it, but it's not really fried chicken.
Right.
So it is a nice spice. Jerk comes from all natural. There's no type of sediments in there. It's like literally all natural, blended, and you can blend it to your liking. You can blend it mild, or you can blend it the real. Where you think Texas sun make you sweat, real jerk chicken will make you sweat.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
With that, as we talk about Reggae Fest, Houston is just one of the most diverse cities in the world.
It is.
What is it like, and how do you see that reflected? And I mean, you talked about lots of different people from different backgrounds and cultures coming to Reggae Fest. What is it like to see that on display and see people just sort of embrace this moment where you're all together celebrating one culture?
I think it's great because like Houston isn't the like New York and like Miami's those are the top like cities when it comes to this. So for us, we are counting on Houston's diversity to like come out, and so we have people who you wouldn't even think like reggae are there, and I think that is what makes Houston a great place. That like all people are like there.
Yeah. You also talked about embracing sort of not just reggae but world music. I think embracing and I even hate that label, world music, but you know what I mean. World music is kind of having this moment right now.
Yeah, like music around the world. So like when it comes to when you hear Reggae Fest, a lot of people think it's gonna be just reggae. Yeah. All I'm gonna hear is reggae. We're gonna sit around and rock and do this. No, like when we say reggae, we mean dancehall, we mean soca, we mean calypso, we mean Afrobeat.
Yeah.
We mean anything that you think you're gonna not hear, you're going to hear here because the DJs, the lineup that we have is world renowned with this music. They've traveled the world with music. And when you do that, it brings you to understand like, okay, we can put this into a mix. We can bring this in there. And then the way we do it, we speak on it. So like with dancehall DJs, you'll have an MC and you have a person that selected the music. That MC is telling you something that's leading up to the next song and you don't know that yet. So when that next song hits you, you're like, ooh, So it's a real niche on high energy and having fun with every genre you can think about.
It is Houston Reggae Summer Fest tomorrow, starting at 3 at Hermann Park.
3.
So, I can't wait to go.
Very exciting. Timothy Hudson is the
Hermann
founder
Square
and
Park.
CEO. There you go. Hermann Square Park.
Square Park, yes.
Timothy Hudson, founder and CEO of Houston Reggae Summer Fest, and King Tafari Toney is the festival's entertainment director. Thank you all both so much for being
Appreciate you.
Come out and have fun.
Thank you.
Vibes.
I love it. We have another hour of Hello Houston coming up. We're going to talk about flying cars. A lot of exciting stuff coming, so stay with us.
Stay tuned. There's more Hello Houston on the way. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
support comes from UT Health Houston, Houston's health university, where education, research, and patient care come together to help advance health and improve lives in Houston and beyond. More at houstonshealthuniversity.com.
You can watch Hello Houston on HPM Plus, free to download for smart TVs. Warm today, not quite as hot as it's been. The high only 95. That's because we have a 30% chance of rain. This is your NPR station, KUHF, Houston. News 88.7, a service of the University of Houston.
Just ahead on this hour of Hello Houston, the district attorney's investigation into last month's fatal ICE shooting gets a multi-million-dollar bump. We'll discuss this and more as we continue diving into today's top headlines. I'm Michael Adkison.
And I'm guest host Donna Reed. We'll also talk with Jim Duchovny, CEO of Aleph Aeronautics. He's going to tell us about their work developing what they say is the world's first all-electric flying car and how they're addressing safety concerns.
Plus, we've got a rundown of things happening this weekend as part of our regular Friday feature, Last Minute Plans, and we want to hear yours.
That's right. Give us a call or text us with your comments or questions. 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org.
Hello Houston continues right after the news from NPR and News 88.7.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. Iran says it has approved an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz that would allow Iranian authorities to oversee inbound shipping traffic. But the White House says no country will be allowed to control the waterway. NPR's Frank Ordonez reports.
President Trump had been saying all week that good things were happening and that a deal to open the Strait of Hormuz would happen very soon. But the split over who controls the strait has thrown the agreement into question. Justin Logan of the think tank Cato Institute pointed to the differing interpretations of one single paragraph 5 of that MOU that caused all the problems.
It's a bit like the unstoppable force that meets the immovable object. I mean, neither country's public position, at least, has changed significantly, and that was what caused the Memorandum of Understanding to implode in the first place.
Iran continues to maintain they want control over the strait, while the U.S. is seeking a return to the status quo. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
A key Republican Senator, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, says he will back Todd Blanche's nomination as Attorney General, smoothing the way for his ultimate confirmation by the full U.S. Senate. Blanche had faced concerns from all Senate Democrats and some Republicans in the chamber over a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, as well as other actions of the Department of Justice under the Trump administration. A judge ruled this week that Meta must pay New Mexico's fine of $567 million. That's on top of $375 million in penalties from a previous phase of the state's lawsuit over the harm to children's mental health. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres has been representing the state against the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, and he spoke to NPR's Here and Now.
We've always understood that we by ourselves couldn't do this, but by taking a lead and showing that this is a line that can be taken by other states and other jurisdictions, we've fundamentally provided a blueprint for everyone else in this country and around the world to hold this company accountable.
The Democrat is running for re-election in November. The Trump administration is proposing major changes to the Clean Water Act, aiming to cut red tape and construction costs. But as Rachel Cohen with Mountain West News Bureau reports, some states are creating their own safeguards.
Colorado is launching a program to regulate its wetlands and seasonal streams. 3 years ago, a U.S. Supreme Court ruling narrowed federal oversight. Nicole Rowan oversees a new permitting system that Colorado designed to fill the gap.
This work is really critical in protecting Colorado's water quality. It's really important for businesses and agriculture to have clarity so they can continue their development in a safe way.
New Mexico is following suit, and Delaware Governor Matt Meyer signed new state wetland protections into law last month. For NPR News, I'm Rachel Cohen in Boulder, Colorado.
You're listening to NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Shelby Rose.
Que Lorenzo
One man's speech echoed across Canal Street this morning, asking for justice for Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, who was killed by ICE enforcement 1 month ago today. A caravan of 15 to 20 cars quietly drove by in remembrance, displaying signs as Salgado Araujo's sons watched. They want justice to bring charges to those responsible, but also free the 2 remaining witnesses who were still in ICE detention, including Salgado Araujo's brother. Only one of the 3 has been released so far. The federal government claims the shooting was in self-defense. And multiple investigations into the shooting continue, including one by Harris County District Attorney Sean Tier's office. And it's getting a boost of more than $2 million from Commissioner's Court. Tier says the funding for the investigation will last for 3 years, but he wouldn't say whether he thought the investigation would take that long.
Ideally, it won't be 3 years, but this is different than even if we are investigating and prosecuting a state law enforcement officer, right? Because the people that we are investigating are federal agents.
Commissioners voted unanimously on the funding provision Thursday, saying it's necessary to carry out a robust investigation. The funding includes overtime for investigators and possible outside counsel. Officials are still looking into what caused a massive fire at a seafood warehouse in Galveston Wednesday night. The Texas Gulf Seafood Warehouse supplies seafood to restaurants and grocery stores. Crystal Trong has worked at the warehouse for almost 30 years. She cried as she watched it burn through the night. She says working there is her livelihood, and she watched it disappear within minutes.
When I drove down here, I see the flame, and it's so bad. I fall down, and I say, oh my God, everything is gone now.
The Texas restaurant officials say that they aren't sure yet what the impacts of the fire will mean for restaurants that rely on the warehouse for seafood. We also continue to inch closer to the start of preseason in the National Football League. The Texans' first game will be against the Los Angeles Chargers next Thursday. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. I'm Shelby Rose, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Fisher Investments. Fisher's dedicated team of specialists provide resources on investing, retirement income, estate planning, and more. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Live from Houston Public Media and News 88.7, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Hello Houston.
Hello to the second hour of this Hello Houston. It is officially Friday afternoon, which means tap out, stop working. No, I'm kidding. It's only noon, but you can officially make that justification. It is officially Friday afternoon. So thank you for staying with us and listening to this second hour of Hello Houston. We've got a pretty exciting second hour. I'm kind of fascinated and in awe that we're going to be spending a whole segment talking about flying cars. It's like we were joking about the Jetsons earlier.
I can see it. I can see the commercials. I can see the TV show and George Jetson and the whole family living that life.
Right.
Could it happen to us?
Could it happen? Could it happen in our lifetime? Isn't that crazy?
I think so.
I do. It's tough. We when the Waymos were coming to Houston, we did some stories on that, and I even came on Hello Houston one time to talk about it as the reporter, and someone had asked me something to the effect of like, "What did you have fun?" And I was like, yes, I did. Like almost like a reporter. I'm like ashamed. I'm like, yes, I had fun in the Waymo. Like I know I shouldn't have, but it's hard not to be like swept up in the technology and the excitement of it all. Yeah,
you have to look at it like that, and that makes these changes that are coming our way that much easier.
Right.
That we're accepting of them. All right, maybe I'm not 100%.
I know AI I'm still hesitant on.
Oh,
but...
sure. I mean, we don't know everything yet.
Right.
On that.
Isn't that funny? I'm like, AI, no thank you. Flying car, I will happily get in one.
Because AI is getting in your head.
There you go, yes.
These flying cars are like taking you to a place.
I like that. Yes. Whatever makes me feel better and sleep at night.
Maybe that's it.
I love it. So we're going to be talking about flying cars here in about 20 minutes. So stick around for that discussion. It's going to be very exciting. But first up, Donna Reed with the headlines. Donna, take it away.
All right. Thank you. Harris County District Attorney Sean Tier investigates into the ICE shooting death of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. He will get $2.5 million boost with the approval of a funding provision on Thursday. Commissioners unanimously approved the funds for the independent investigation into the shooting death of Salgado by a federal immigration officer in Houston's East End last month. The longtime Houston man's death drew national attention and raised questions surrounding the incident, which federal authorities said happened when he attempted to run over an ICE agent with his vehicle. The passengers in the vehicle at the time of the shooting have disputed ICE's account. Houston Public Media's first reported last month that the district attorney's office would conduct an independent investigation into the shooting. Several entities, including the Texas Rangers and the Department of Public Safety, are also investigating the circumstances of the shooting. On Thursday, TIR told commissioners that additional funding is necessary to carry out the investigation. The funds won't go into the office's general fund, but rather into a bucket of money dedicated to resources for the investigation. If the office determines that no criminal charges apply in the case, the office may not use the remainder of the funds, according to him. So what are your thoughts? Is that enough money? Is it too much? Do you support the DA's investigation? Call or text us at 713-440-8870.
This is, very interesting, I think. One of the things, my colleague Sarah Grunow covered this. She was at this commissioner's court hearing where they discussed allocating the $2.5 million to the district attorney's office. And one of the things that she noted is that the money is allocated over a period, I believe, I know you shouldn't say this as a journalist, don't quote me on this. I believe it's three years. The money can be allocated over the course of 3 years. The question being, do they need that long, and what would they need it that long for? One potential answer being that they're prepared for this to go to court and that they're going to press charges and prosecute. If that is the possibility here, it's like that could be a lengthy legal battle. And Sarah and I were discussing that this morning. So that's one potential. The other thing that I think is interesting is that shooting happened a month ago today, in fact. And it's interesting to me now that they're asking for more money, the $2.5 million. Has something shifted in their investigation? I know that they said they're very far along. It makes you wonder, why now? What do they need now to help the investigation? So just a couple questions that I have about all this. But yeah, it was 1 month ago today.
1 month.
I know. Makes you think. 713-440-8870 is the phone number to call to weigh in on all of this. This was a shooting that we've covered extensively here at Houston Public Media, and we're still continuing to do so. I think also another fact into all of this is the independent investigations. This was obviously something that a lot of people were calling for. A lot of people said that they wanted, and now the Harris County District Attorney's office is moving forward with theirs. The Texas Rangers, as we understand, is also investigating. We have not received word on how far they are into their investigation, but they are looking into that. Sean Tier's office did tell commissioners yesterday that they have progressed. They have looked into quite a bit and are still collecting evidence. And this $2.5 million boost, I think, is going to help move them along quite a bit.
Forward, yeah. I wonder what else happened, though, that all of a sudden, a month later, we're hearing. I guess it's in the course of the investigation and so on.
Right.
More things are discovered and more things are uncovered.
Yeah. We've seen them out in the field. I've seen them out in the field when the shooting first happened. I saw folks with the district attorney's office doing the same thing that every reporter was doing, which is going business to business and asking if they saw anything, if they heard anything, if they have any security camera footage. And there was one gas station that did have security camera footage that we obtained that showed the same thing that everyone else has seen, nothing profound. That was the cars turning onto the street, but not the shooting itself. It just happened to be that as I was asking for that video, I walked in while the district attorney's office was also asking for the video.
Oh, okay.
And so we encountered each other, and, it was a gas station, so it was very close quarters. And at one point they were walking out and I was kind of in their way, and we exchanged formalities, and I said, I'm sure I'm here for the same reason you guys are, of trying to get whatever video this place may have. And that was the case. And so I know that all of which to say that reporters both on this team and other teams, our NPR partners at the national level, have seen the district attorney's office is out there collecting evidence and has been for weeks now. So yeah, it is a question that I would have too, of now what has changed 1 month in that would prompt the call for $2.5 million. But obviously it does move the investigation forward.
It absolutely is moving it forward,
yeah.
for sure.
So,
yeah,
there you go.
We'll see.
713-440-8870 is the number to call. Another story that we are keeping our eyes on that we have heard some stories about in the past, and I'm sure a lot of people have thoughts on this. We'd love to hear them. According to CBS News, the Pentagon has released a new batch of documents and images related to UFOs, also known as Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, or UAP. That's the new PC term for UFOs. That's the fifth such disclosure in recent months about these strange objects. These 41 new case files posted on the Pentagon's UFO website include a mix of documents, images, and videos. Those records come from the Pentagon, FBI, CIA, State Department, and Executive Office of the President, with the oldest being from 1950 and the most recent being from this year. This is the fifth such batch of files released since President Trump called for them to be made public in an executive order earlier this year. What are your thoughts on these disclosures? I know that Steven Spielberg movie came out earlier this summer. Do you believe in UFOs? I want to believe. I couldn't resist myself. No, give us a call or text 713-440-8870. UFOs. We're talking UFOs and flying cars, Donna. I don't know. Do
you believe in UFOs?
Oh, now you're putting me on the spot. UFOs, sure. Aliens, I'm not positive on. I'm sure there's always an explanation.
AI could be the alien.
AI, it could be AI. It's tough. I think about, there's a whole universe out there. I don't believe anything. There's very few things that I believe with 100% certainty on, and this would be one of those that I would say it's hard for me to not think there's a possibility. I feel like I'm in a word salad. I'm like, of course, there's definitely the distinct possibility that there might be something out there, but,
Well, why are they uncovering all of it now? I mean, there must be something that's making people want to.
I don't know.
I don't know if anybody's. I don't know. UFOs just seem so sci-fi.
It just is one of those things. I think as a culture and a society living in the internet age, when we have more access to information than anyone in human history has ever had, I think it has become easier and easier to start believing in conspiracy theories. That I think conspiracy theories a few generations ago were just that they were conspiracy theories. There were these fringe ideas that no one really adhered to, but some people really wanted to connect the dots or what have you. And it was a conspiracy. Like that's it's in the name. And I think now you see a lot more people, it's almost trendy to believe in conspiracy theories. That I think you see people on TikTok that are posting about what's a conspiracy theory that I believe in. And there are these bizarre things that Avril Lavigne is not really Avril Lavigne. It's this one girl who has replaced Avril Lavigne slowly. Little things like that. That it's like they're just these silly ideas. It's become more interesting to believe in conspiracy theories, and I think that has pushed, the president to sort of believe that there's an interest in disclosing all of this information, if for no other reason than to show, look, here's transparency, here's what we know.
Yeah.
And you get the points for that. But, it's not like they've said, yes, aliens are real.
But there's more important stories, too. I'm
absolutely.
Not a journalist, but, I am a journalist at some things.
Yeah.
But it just seems like there'd be more time spent with, UFOs.
Yeah.
I'd have to think about that one.
My British computer guy writes on YouTube, I believe we are not alone in the universe, but I don't believe we have been visited from an alien world. And that's a distinction.
It is.
Learning from Disclosure
Smart.
Day. That's
He's
a distinction. You said you didn't see Disclosure Day yet?
I have not seen it yet.
It was good. I liked the idea that it's about, the central conflict is not, it's not even so much an alien movie like E.T. or anything like that, which Spielberg has obviously done before. It was more this movie about the idea of aliens and what it would do to us if we found out they're real. It's more about knowledge and power and the power that knowledge has and what have you. And
what was the takeaway for you then, seeing something like that?
I go back and forth. I think to put the conflict, and I'm not going to spoil it, but to put the conflict in other words, the two sides, the good guys versus the bad guys, it was this idea of there is proof that aliens exist, and the good guys want to disclose that because they think the public deserves to know that, and the bad guys essentially think that would damage people. They would lose faith in the world around them. They would, what can they trust if there's all this information out there? And so for me, you can make the argument, and he's made movies about journalism before, Steven Spielberg, that it's a very journalist movie of, knowledge and who deserves truth, who deserves knowledge. And I think as a journalist, I feel obligated to say everybody deserves truth. But I think there is an argument to be made for how the truth is handled and how it's best told. That, it of course would do a lot of damage finding out that aliens are real. But it's the truth. If let me take a step back. In the movie, it's the truth.
Disclaimer.
I caught myself. In
Disclaimer
the world
for
of Steven
disclosure.
Spielberg, it is the truth. No, but it's a good movie. I really enjoyed it. I like that idea. I like movies that make you think like that about truth and what's out there.
But imagine what people would think if that were the case.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make AI pale in comparison.
Oh my gosh.
It would be a whole different way of looking at life because you'd be thinking things are looking at you all the time. Which is our phones, but okay, that's a different topic.
713-440-8870. I'm sure there are more conspiracy theorists out there who are just, I don't know what's holding you guys back from giving us a call, but I want somebody to weigh in and let us know what you think about the existence of aliens and the, the idea that these could be out there. But 713-440-8870 is that number to call and let us know what you think. In these last couple of minutes before we have moving into our next segment, just a couple of tidbits. GOP senators, I'm sure lots of people heard this one, GOP senators voted to hold Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for pleading the Fifth during questioning at a hearing last week. Interesting dichotomy between that and how the January 6th committee investigated. I think comparing the two and the contempt of Congress charges is really notable. Other tidbits, a New Mexico judge has ordered Meta, the parent company of Facebook, to pay $942 million and limit how much time young people can spend on its app as part of a landmark child safety verdict. Ford has unveiled its new $28,350 midsize electric pickup truck, Fathom. We were talking about EVs earlier this week.
Yeah,
that's
that's in competition for the flying cars. So see, it's coming at us all at once.
EV, flying car, which would you rather? Netflix will debut an extended look at Grand Theft Auto 6 later this month in a first-of-its-kind partnership between the streaming service and the video game. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and that was many years ago. It's something like 13, 14 years between 5 and 6. And I know people have been waiting on this one for a while. Netflix was sued by a UK-based production company for allegedly losing the master copy of an unreleased Nicolas Cage movie. And yesterday, a big one that I saw on social media, the trailer for Prime Time, in which Robert Pattinson plays To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen, dropped. He's, can you believe it? A biopic about Chris Hansen. It's just fascinating. Okay. And they're making it like this sort of, mystery piece that really makes you question about all. It's really artsy. It looks so really interesting.
Got to come up with everything new from Hollywood, right?
Do you remember watching To Catch
the
Predator?
Bit. Yes.
I'm excited for that movie. They try to make it seem like it's almost like this thriller of the work that he does. So it's one that I'm looking forward to, definitely. So really exciting to talk about that one. Coming up on, it sounds like we're getting a phone call, so we're going to talk a little bit more about perhaps UFOs in a bit. I hope that's who is calling.
Or flying cars.
Or flying cars. Maybe it's someone.
Seems to be a topic.
Maybe it's someone who wants to talk about flying cars. 713-440-8870 is that number to call. Christian is in from Missouri City. Christian, welcome to Hello Houston. Christian, you there?
Great.
Hey, there you are.
Sir. Thank you. So I've been very interested in aliens and that sort of thing for a long time. I watch a lot of things that I don't believe in, things that seem that these people really do believe what they're saying. I do personally think that we're not alone and that we've been visited for sure by something other than what comes from Earth. But there's also another realization that I've had that it could be, what people believe are aliens. It could be just government projects, which also could be technology that received from others from outside of Earth. But and this is kind of going into past, future, time traveler stuff, but I've seen some compelling things that could lend to these aliens that people are seeing or have experiences with being us from the future. We kind of evolved into a certain way, which I don't know. There's just a lot of different avenues that you can go down, and not just, hey, this is something from another planet.
It's easy to get sucked into all these worlds of conspiracy theories and all of that, of what to believe, what not to believe, what have you. Christian, I'm curious, we started talking about this because the government has disclosed several files, documents that they have that are purportedly about UFOs and everything like that. What do you think of these disclosures and the role that the government plays in all of this?
And so what I think, and this totally goes off of the vast amount of documentaries and things that I watch, I don't necessarily believe everyone, but it's I guess you can kind of get a sense of people. And I do think that, what happened in Roswell, it actually happened. People within the military that were there around that time have come out and confirmed some things just recently. Not recently, maybe within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But it's hard to understand people's motives, and sure, they could be wanting some fame or maybe some attention, but it's just weird to have somebody that was high in the military coming out later when they're kind of on their deathbed saying, hey, I don't want this to go to my grave. I was there. I saw what they brought in. I was at Area 51 or whatever. And like Bob Lazar, he said that he worked on Area 51 on a separate project, kind of reverse engineering what they had. And a lot of what he said, like a new element that supposedly was used in the propulsion of these things, we've found later that element, I forget what it's called, element 115, I believe, it's a real thing. We know that it's real now.
Have you ever seen a UFO, Christian?
No, and that's what I'm upset about. I mean, I'm like the number one fan. I'm the number one fan, and I'm seeing all these people on TV, old documentaries, maybe from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and I'm like, these people didn't even believe in them. Like, why don't they want me?
They haven't chosen you. I love it. Christian, thank you so much for coming on to Hello Houston. We appreciate you sharing your thoughts.
Yes.
Donna, what's funny to me is we're talking with Christian. It just makes me think, what a world that we're living in, that here we are on a news program talking about UFOs, but it's with purpose because that's what the government is talking about.
Oh, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to add that part of it.
Right,
but you did it very well.
It's like, if the government is talking about it, I suppose it's our duty to report on it. It's just, but I can't help but think that 10 years ago, people couldn't even fathom that we would be giving credence to the idea of UFOs.
Well, we were dealing with COVID too, so
Right.
I think our heads were in a different place.
Right.
And so maybe things are changing. Everything's changing very fast.
Yes.
And people are just looking at everything. And of course, we have so many ways of looking at things because we have news information coming from all over.
Yeah.
So it's making different parts of people's brains go, oh, this.
Yes.
So
that's
probably
exactly
why. Part of the reason anyway.
713-440-8870 is the number to call. Brittany is on the line from Lake Jackson. Brittany, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hello.
Hello.
Tell us your thoughts. What do you think of all this discussion that we're having here?
I think that a lot of what we see that are, UEPs or UFOs, whatever you want to call them, is a lot of times I feel like it's mostly just experimental aircrafts and everything. I think 100% that aliens exist. I don't know that they they have the ability to come visit us, but the universe is vast and expansive, and I think it may be a little selfish to think that we're the end all be all and there's nothing else out there.
Yeah. Brittany, I'll ask you the same question that I had just asked Christian. I don't know if you heard, but we're talking about all this because the federal government has begun disclosing certain things, and no smoking gun document that says yes, aliens are real, but they're disclosing information about UFOs and what have you. What do you think? What role would you like to see, I suppose, the government play in this very extraterrestrial, surreal conversation?
I hope that it results in more funding being given to things like the very nice telescopes that we have, and to really look and see what's out there.
Yeah.
I hope it promotes more government involvement and funding towards these exploratory space launches and satellites and telescopes and everything.
Yeah. I like it. And space is kind of having its moment right now with Artemis and even sci-fi Project Hail Mary, and people are interested in space. It sounds like just like you, Brittany. So appreciate you coming on to Hello Houston and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you. But yeah, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about what to expect here in the Houston area this weekend. Stay with us as we go through our last minute plans. We'll be right back.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're watching right now. So take the next step and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference. And what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a minute to make a big difference. So join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 800-364-8300.
And queer art.
Sam Sanders. It is on Sunday at 6 p.m.
I'm Maria Hinojosa. Next time on Latino USA, a conversation with actress Melissa Barrera about her Broadway debut, her decision to become a Hollywood executive, and the cost of speaking up against injustice.
I get to come here, and it's a safe haven for me where I get to be silly for 2 hours and remind myself that it's okay to laugh.
That's next time on Latino USA.
You can hear it Sunday at 7 p.m.
From the ocean floor to the edge of the universe, PBS Science and Nature documentaries are here. Stream anytime on HPM Plus. Search HPM Plus on your smart and connected TVs.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from Baylor College of Medicine. With over 125 years of innovation behind it, Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the frontiers of modern science.
Support comes from the Museum of Fine Arts Houston, presenting Ernesto Neto, Sunforce Ocean Life, an immersive exhibition exploring ecology, spirituality, and sensory awareness. The experience ends September 7th. Tickets at mfah.org.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from attorney mediator Ron Bankston, providing in-person, video conference, and hybrid mediation and arbitration services. More information is available at ronbankston.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Michael Adkison and Donna Reed.
It is officially the end of the week. We kicked off the hour with me giving everyone blessings to dip out of the office early. No, I'm kidding, but
Is that why it's
that's
so quiet
probably not
around
going to
Houston?
fly with your boss. Hearing from a 28-year-old on the radio telling you can go home, please. Michael Adkison said so. No, but it is the end of the week, which means that we are going to ask and turn to you guys for your weekend plans. Let us know. Do you have any last-minute plans or anything that you're doing this weekend? Give us a call or text 713-440-8870 or just leave a comment on our YouTube if you're watching us there. Let us know what you have planned this weekend. I hope you guys have some exciting plans. I hope a lot of the people who have to go back to school on Monday are making this weekend count. So let us know how you're planning to spend your final days before those dreaded returns to school next week. Donna, what do you have planned this weekend?
I don't know. I like that Reggae Fest. That sounded pretty good. The heat might deter me from getting there too late, but late enough so it's cool.
But that elevator pitch, it sold you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Even if I make my own Reggae Fest at home Friday afternoon. So just kind of rest and relaxation and family. And
Yes. Nice. I love it. I love it. I know. I'm trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was saying my girlfriend is out of town, and unfortunately I feel like we do social things together, and I would feel weird doing anything without her. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll read. I'll catch up on my reading, what have you.
I mean, do you use an audiobook or do you read?
I read. I felt like I was sheep yesterday, a wolf in sheep's clothing, because yesterday Doug Miller was saying we've got to go to bookstores and buy physical books, and I used to be a diehard physical book person. Yeah. I still love going to bookstores. There's nothing I love more, but I did get a Kindle a couple years ago, and now I read on a Kindle. So
do
that's
you like
usually
it?
Oh, I do. There was one vacation that we went on where I read like 4 or 5 books in the span of a week. I love to read. That's all I do is read. So I read 4 or 5 books on this vacation, and my girlfriend pointed out, if you still read physical books, you wouldn't have been able to do that. You couldn't pack all of that. So that kind of sold it for me. So 713-440-8870 is the number to call to let us know your weekend plans. Chris is on the line from Cyprus. Chris, welcome to Hello Houston. Chris, are you there?
I enjoy it. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, okay. You guys did a really great job today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to take advantage of the Houston Restaurants Week the specials.
Good call.
That benefit the Houston Food Bank. They have lunch and they have dinner specials. It's very affordable, and you really can't beat the price. So, hopefully a lot of people will take advantage of it.
Yes.
I love that. Restaurants Week is a good idea. Any idea where you're going to go?
My wife and I get to decide. Everybody throws their hat in the ring, but I'm pushing for Brennan's of New Orleans.
Nice. There you go. We just had them on the show. We were talking to Brennan's earlier this week, so to take advantage of that. It sounded like they had some great food there.
Sounds like fun, too. We'll be eating a whole lot this weekend.
Right. Chris, thank you so much for calling.
Chris.
I appreciate it. Hope anyone else has some great plans. Give us a call, 713-440-8870. But, there's a lot on the docket here if you're looking for something to do. For example, on Saturday, you can go to the Houston Shakespeare Festival and see Comedy of Errors. I feel like a deep cut for Shakespeare. Not as many people.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I know, right? Produced by the University of Houston right here on campus. This is a free performance of William Shakespeare's farce of mistaken identity when 2 sets of twins who were separated at birth cross paths, causing hilarity and mayhem to ensue. The performance begins at 8:15 tomorrow evening. I love a good Shakespeare in the Park free performance. I just love seeing Shakespeare. It's so fun to see history, brought to life and everything like that. So a lot of fun.
I was thinking I can't think of the name of the movie, but it's recent, and it's about the son of Shakespeare. And I think we might watch that this weekend.
The Hamnet?
Yes,
Is that movie?
Thank you.
Yes.
Hamnet. Yeah. Have you seen it?
I haven't actually. I kept saying I was going to read the book first, and I have yet to read the books.
Yeah, it looks really good. I think
I've heard
I could
it's
get
really
into
good.
It. Yes, when you mentioned Shakespeare, I think Hamnet.
Yeah, Hamnet. Yep. I've heard a lot of good things about that. The actress won Best Actress.
She
who's
did.
in that. So that's a good one. You can join Donna and watch Hamnet this weekend, or you can go to Comedy of Errors here at the University of Houston. Another thing you could do tomorrow evening is a drone show that is Harry Potter themed. So for the Potterheads out there, this one is for you. It's a 2-night, 60-minute open-air drone spectacle that will have over 1,200 drones as they recreate iconic moments from the Harry Potter films in the sky, along with the music from the films. I would love if it's the weirdest Harry Potter moments, like moaning Myrtle in the bathroom, or I was going to spoil it and say one of the characters dying would be crazy, but I'm not going to.
Well, what's nice, it's a Constellation Field over in Sugar Land.
Right,
That's a great place to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's big.
You can take advantage of that actually tonight or tomorrow night. So that's going to start at 9 o'clock tonight and 9 o'clock Saturday night. And as Donna mentioned, Constellation Field in Sugar Land. So take advantage of that. We're getting a couple of our comments from YouTubers. Noah Espinoza writes, it's Meet the Teacher Day and school shopping on Saturday. Might even go to House of Pies. House of Pies sounds good. You take it. Yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Now we have so much to do this weekend. Thank you, listeners.
Some of the ideas.
Movies.
We're going to watch Hamnet. We're going to go to House of Pies. We're going to take advantage of Houston Restaurants Week. And we're going to go see Shakespeare and the Harry Potter drone show.
Sounds perfect. And the Reggae Fest.
And the Reggae Fest.
It's great.
My British computer guy writes, weekend plans. If I were Ernie, I'd say cleaning my garage, which, as many of our devoted Hello Houston fans know, Ernie says perpetually that he's going to be cleaning his garage, and I believe he has yet to do it. But my British computer guy writes, but seeing as I did that last weekend, this weekend is a deep clean the carpets weekend. Nothing like a productive way to spend your days.
Admirable.
You know?
It is.
Couldn't be me. I'm such a pushover that it is easy for me to convince myself that I don't need to clean because I could spend my time watching TV or reading. I work so hard in the week, you see, and weekends are for resting, not for housework.
That's true. Or you can be a neat slob, like
right.
is what I am. It looks nice on the front, but everything is like jammed into
there you
the
go.
washer
Yes.
and dryer.
Everything's
and
in the
dishwasher.
closet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't open that closet because everything's going to come tumbling out.
But it looks good when you first see it. So it's like, that's how I do it.
I love it. Braden Arnold on YouTube, it's called YouTube, not YouTube, but he is a YouTuber, writes, last minute plans going to see Toto, Christopher Cross, and the Romantics in the Woodlands. Donna, your thoughts on seeing that?
It'll be great. They've got there's not enough for me to go around this weekend now. There's
Bless
so
the
much to
Rains
do.
of Africa, right?
Nice
That's Toto,
seg.
right?
It is.
Okay.
Impressive.
I was worried. I was like, did I get it wrong?
Newshound. I'm impressed.
Newshound.
That's awesome.
I like music.
I
that's the only Toto song I know. Don't ask me to name another Toto song.
You're
but
good. We're going to let it fly. But that's going to be a great concert.
That'll work. Sounds like all of our YouTubers have some great plans. Let us know yours or give us a call, 713-440-8870. If you haven't heard Just the Right Thing yet, we have some more for you. If you want something to do on Sunday, take advantage of your Sunday, Keith Carnegie Jazz Group is going to be playing at the Archway Gallery. Jazz drummer Keith Carnegie will be joined by an ensemble of talented jazz musicians, including the internationally recognized saxophonist Woody Witt. It's a free performance. Hey, can't beat that. And it's going to take place at the Archway Gallery, which is the longest-running artist-owned and operated gallery in Texas. I did not know that, so there you go. And that's going to be on Sunday from 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening. Otherwise, some other things you could be doing on Sunday, book and plant swap at the Lyric Market. For me, those are my two favorite things are books and plants, so that sounds great. The Houston Food Hall is in the heart of the theater district, and it's going to host a free book and plant exchange. You and a friend can spend the afternoon swapping your favorite reeds or plant trimmings, up to you, dealer's choice, while also finding some new great finds. That's going to be from noon to 3 o'clock on Sunday. I want to know if you can swap. I like your plant, but all I have is this book. Would you trade? I wonder if
I bet they would, though.
you can swap anything.
If you love both and everybody else loves both, you could probably do that.
Yeah, so anything goes. I shouldn't say that because I don't know the rules. Maybe not everything goes, but if it was my book and plant swap, anything would go. You want this War and Peace, I'll take your pothos. Something to that effect. All weekend long, though, if you want something that's going to just, you know it's there, you know it's going to be all weekend, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey are here with the greatest show on earth. You can't beat the greatest show on earth. Circus fans can expect to see a world-class performance, jaw-dropping acts, and plenty of unforgettable moments from this long-reigning spectacle that's been updated for a new generation of audiences. And if I know everyone's just waiting on pins and needles to see the acts that are going to be in the circus, you got the Double Wheel of Destiny, the Crisscross Flying Trapeze, the world's craziest unicycle, and the Ringling Rocket, and much more. All of that sounds like a lot of fun. The show has times at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. on Saturday, and 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. on Sunday. Who doesn't love the circus? I mean, there's so much fun there.
There's a lot. Houston has it all.
Take advantage of that. Some of these last-minute plans. We love hearing what you guys have to offer that you're doing this weekend. Stay with us. Coming up, Party Politics co-host Brandon Rottinghouse will look at the new food truck rules with another Techsperts episode. Stay with us as Hello Houston continues.
It's not just your car. It's the one that brought your kids home from school, took you cross-country, held memories, laughter, even a few breakdowns. When it's time to let go, give your car a new purpose. Donate it and turn memories into meaningful support for this station. Plus, you'll enjoy free and easy pickup, potential tax benefits, and a simple donation process. Your gift supports the programs you and your family love. Donate today and help keep public media strong. Call or donate online.
PBS Drama on HPM Plus.
The twists you didn't see coming. The characters you can't stop thinking about. HPM Plus puts your favorite PBS series on demand, so you never have to miss a moment. Catch up on past seasons with Passport, or stream live whenever the mood strikes.
All your favorite shows.
Search HPM Plus on your smart and connected TVs. The next chapter is waiting.
On HPM Plus.
Houston Matters highlights the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston. And we do it live on the air weekday mornings at 9 on News 88.7. But we know you're not always available then to listen. So subscribe to our podcast wherever you get yours, or find each day's program to stream online at your leisure at houstonpublicmedia.org. And reach out with questions or comments anytime. Email us at talk@houstonmatters.org.
We know you value Houston Public Media. That's why you're listening right now. Take the next steps and become a new member of the station you rely on. Every gift makes a difference, and what matters most right now is supporting the station that brings you the news and information you rely on. It only takes a few minutes to make a big difference. Join as a new member today at houstonpublicmedia.org/donate or call 888-909-0887.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on today's topics, call or text 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And now, Michael Adkison and Donna Reed.
Welcome back to Hello Houston. We had hoped to talk flying cars. I know we hyped it up quite a bit. Unfortunately, there was a scheduling conflict, and we are going to try to get them back on the air and reschedule with us, so we will keep you posted. But we've got some great segments for you up ahead. Food trucks, as everyone knows, are everywhere in Texas. But for years, operating one meant navigating a maze of local permits, inspections, and fees every time a truck crossed into a new city. As of July 1st, 2026, all this changed with the new Texas law that creates a single statewide health permit for food trucks rather than a patchwork city-by-city licensing process. So today we're going to revisit an episode of Texperts in which the very well-known Brandon Rottinghouse, co-host of Houston Public Media's Party Politics, explores this new law and what its supporters and critics are saying about it. Here's Texperts.
Welcome to Texperts, Houston Public Media's short primers on Texas government. I'm Brandon Rottinghouse, a political science professor at the University of Houston.
Food trucks. That's right. Tacos from trailers, gourmet grilled cheese, barbecue from a converted Airstream, the mobile kitchens that fuel Texas festivals, breweries, football games, and frankly, half of my bad decisions after 10 p.m. But behind every food truck serving brisket queso fries is something much less delicious: permitting bureaucracy. And the Texas lawmakers have decided that they've had just about enough. Starting July 1st, Texas is launching a statewide food truck permit system that dramatically changes how mobile food vendors operate across the state. And depending on who you ask, this is either a huge win for small business, a dangerous loss of local control, or the most Texas policy fight imaginable. Before this law, operating a food truck in Texas meant navigating what could only be described as a regulatory scavenger hunt. Want to sell tacos in Dallas? Get a permit. Now head to Fort Worth? Different permit. College Station? Different inspection. Austin? Completely different paperwork. Food truck owners often had to repeat nearly identical health inspections in every city they entered, even though the safety standards were mostly the same statewide. That meant more fees, more inspections, more downtime, and a lot less actual taco selling. One Bryan area food truck owner reportedly pays about $2,400 per year just in permits across multiple cities. The law that the state passed basically says, what if we just stop doing that? And politically, that's part of why this issue gained such bipartisan sympathy. Because people who disagree about regulatory philosophy tend to agree that duplicative bureaucracy is inefficient. Last year, the Texas legislature passed House Bill 2844, authored by Republican State Representative Brooks Landgraf of Odessa. The basic idea is simple. Instead of a city-by-city licensing system, Texas will now issue one statewide permit for mobile food vendors. One permit, one inspection, anywhere in Texas. That statewide license has to be administered through the Texas Department of State Health Services, DSHS. The state estimates roughly 19,000 food trucks will eventually operate under this system. And notably, cities still retain authority over zoning, parking, fire codes, and where the trucks can physically operate. So this law doesn't eliminate local regulations entirely. It's mainly centralizing the health permitting process. Of course, not everyone's celebrating with breakfast tacos. Several cities and counties strongly oppose the bill. Why? Two big reasons. First, money. Second, local control. Cities currently collect substantial permit revenue from food trucks. Austin reportedly generated about $600,000 from food truck permits in fiscal year 2025. Amarillo estimated approximately $185,000 annually. Now that revenue largely disappears. Georgetown's mayor framed the debate slightly differently as part of a larger and broader political struggle. Local authority versus state preemption. And that's one of the most important trends in modern Texas governance. Over the last decade, the Texas legislature has increasingly overridden local governments on a range of issues, including ride sharing, oil and gas, environmental rules, labor policy, and unhomed ordinances. And now, food trucks. So yes, even taco permits are part of a larger constitutional and political debate in Texas. We talked to someone who knows about the business of food trucks, Jafar Hajar, the owner-operator of Fuzzy's Pizza in Katy. Not only does he make a great pizza, but he's also a proud UH alum and a former student of mine. Jafar Hajar, welcome to Techsperts.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, appreciate the efforts, and I'm a huge fan of the pizza, obviously, and so this is a great chance for us to talk about food trucks.
Amazing. My favorite topic is food.
Yeah, and speaking of, you started the process of looking into doing a food truck, and so I want to talk a little bit about your journey there.
Yeah. So I've grown up with the business. We've had, my Uncle Fuzzy started Fuzzy's back in 84. My parents started the one in Katy in 95. So I've grown up with food and pizza my entire life. And in 2023, I had a hankering to have like a mobile, like deep dish kind of like express kind of, concept. So I started Fuzzy's Express, but my budget was limited at that time. So I had to work with what I had. And there was a lady who had a daiquiri food truck that she started in 2020. Because the governor allowed like alcohol sales to go during COVID. So it was like a really lucrative opportunity for a lot of people to kind of get into that business. Because TABC strictly refused like alcohol sales to go from restaurants unless it was from a grocery or a retailer or whatever. So to stimulate the economy, the governor was like, okay. So she started it, and then she did it for like a year or so, and then she kind of gave up on it. But she was permitted through Harris County, so no issues whatsoever. I mean, it was a fully licensed daiquiri truck. But pizza's different than daiquiris. So my concept was pizza, and the thing is I couldn't prepare it on board because number one, the truck was too small. Number two, I already had a restaurant, so I kind of had the kind of advantage that other people don't, because it kind of function as like a de facto commissary. Where you can kind of prepare food in a licensed establishment. And then essentially my concept was kind of like how when you go to Starbucks, whenever you go, you buy like a turkey, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. They're not cooking it there for you. They're kind of pulling it out of a frozen packet, and they're reheating it in these like intricate ovens that they had. And then they're serving it to you hot. And essentially it's like a fully cooked product that's frozen. So that's what I did. And I thought I could get licensed by Harris. Well, first I wanted City of Houston, and that was horrible. The amount of requirements that they had for you to get licensed in the City of Houston, because like my goal was deep dish to go in the downtown Med Center area. I'm like, this is perfect for the lunch crowd. Well, City of Houston gave me a packet this thick of things they needed the food truck to be compliant with, and I was like, I probably need to shell out maybe another $200,000 to Plan B, Harris County. So Harris County was a lot less strict on the things that they needed, but they were still really strict. They wanted, certain diameters for how big the sink was. They wanted certain septic tanks and this and that. At the end of the day, the inspector didn't bite with my concept. She was like, no, you're not Starbucks. You can't just reheat food and sell it. I'm like, it's the same thing. How is it different from Starbucks? It's frozen and I'm reheating it. They were like, yeah, but... And I was like, if I was a big company, I'd have more leeway. But so I started county shopping. I was like, which county has the least stringent requirements? And it was Montgomery County. It was because it was the closest thing to me. Because the thing is, when you have a food truck, you can only operate in the county that you're licensed with. The moment you kind of go outside of those county limits, you're in for a world of hurt when you're operating without a license. So Montgomery County was less strict, and I failed the first time because I didn't have the right pipes, which it's not like they're easy. So I know I'm not trying to say that, but I got licensed the second time. I got the permit and everything, and we had Fuzzy's Express out in the Woodlands. And it was a fun journey, but, driving from Katy to the Woodlands every day and taking 45 and 99 it was mental exhaustion.
Yeah, that is definitely a fully different podcast. But I think this is fascinating to hear kind of just the journey to see how this might operate. And I'm wondering from you, given your experiences, do you think that this new statewide licensing system will make it easier for established restaurants like Fuzzy's to experiment with new models of service?
Absolutely. I think because right now the new law essentially is kind of like a one shoe, one permit fits all right now. So you get licensed through the department in Austin. So you have to take your truck out there, and then the inspectors pretty much, check off all the boxes. And I was looking at the permit paperwork, and they're not as difficult as the city of Houston was. So I think, yes, a lot of restaurants are probably going to jump on the opportunity to buy a food truck and then kind of have a pop-up location if their concept supports it. Because, certain dishes, for example, sushi, I think that's something that you're going to want to sit down and eat, or sizzling hot fajitas. I'm going to want some chips and queso with that, it's going to be a hard sell for to go. But pizza, yes.
Pizza's easy. Well, hey, I really appreciate you talking with us and taking the time to discuss your journey. And this is going to be helpful for people's concept of the way that the system is and could be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what concepts are going to roll out, no pun intended.
Thanks for listening to Techsperts, and thanks to everybody, cast and crew here at Houston Public Media for making it happen.
That was Brandon Rottinghouse, a University of Houston political science professor and co-host of Houston Public Media's Party Politics. He spoke with Jafar Hajar, the owner of Fuzzy's Pizza in Katy. All episodes of Techsperts are available to listen to on our website. Just go to houstonpublicmedia.org and search Techsperts. I'll tell you what, Brandon Rottinghouse is just a gem. That he is just so knowledgeable about everything. I love the Techsperts that we have here, that we can listen to that. And it was a lot of fun doing this show. I feel like I'm still kind of we brushed on from the UFOs conversation, but I liked what we were talking about at the end there of, who would have thought that we in the 21st century would be, or in 2026, I should say, would be devoting so much time to UFOs and a news segment. But
no, but news encompasses everything.
A sign of the times, I suppose.
It is a sign of the times. Yeah. A lot of different listeners all tuning in. Everybody, we all have our own interests.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever asked you, do you believe in UFOs? I know we only have a minute left, and that's a big question.
I think there's more life out there. I do think that, but I don't know if there's. I don't know. I don't know yet. The data's not in completely.
The data's not in. Yeah.
I mean, if sometimes you see something in the sky and you wonder, is it a drone or is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think it's possible. I just can't sit here and go, oh no.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. I think it's definitely possible that something could be out there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, with AI. That seems so far-fetched.
No, absolutely. I'm such a pragmatist that I'm always trying to explain things away. I suppose that's what you do in journalism too,
Yes.
is find the explanation for everything. And I'm so quick to be like, it was a drone. It was not.
No, I don't do that. I still question.
You
I still go,
question.
well, could it be?
That's another good sign of a journalist, is someone who questions.
Oh, I question. I'm a walking, talking question mark. I think I told Ernie that once too, and he just laughed. Yeah, I am. I have to ask every question.
I love it. The incomparable Donna Reed, who has been filling in as a guest
Thank
host
you.
here on Hello Houston. Thank you for...
I've enjoyed working with you today. It was really fun.
Loved working with you as well. So thank you so much. And that's going to bring us to the end of the week for Hello Houston. Don't forget, Ernie Manouse. Ernie's back. All right. On Monday, you can finally get rid of me, and he'll be back to talk with Hurricane Hal, Dr. Hal Needham, about extreme weather and disasters, and I'm sure how you can prepare for them. So in the meantime, you can always catch the best of Hello Houston on Saturdays at 1 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. here on News 88.7. Thank you for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menivar, Laura Walker, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, Jayla Rhodes, Mark DeClaudio, Tom Carter, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at HoustonPublicMedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from listeners like you and from Baylor College of Medicine. With over 125 years of innovation behind it, Baylor has driven progress in health and medicine through research, education, and care that push the